Hey guys, and welcome to the world of Aja Pearl. It's my world, and I'm so happy you're here. So today we have a special visitor, but like I said, my visitors are always special. This visitor is the CEO of Fireproof TV, as well as a consultant and producer of Fireproof TV films. Please welcome Moe McCoy. How are you doing, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Glad to be back in your world.
I'm glad you came back to visit. Missed
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay, so tell us how you got started with Fireproof TV.
Well, it started back when I was doing music back in 1999.
Wow.
I was a artist. I just got signed to a label called KJ Records. I was in a group called the Nappy Head Assassins, and I asked the CEO. His name is Price West, rest his soul.
Mhm.
I asked him. I said, "Sir, can I be an intern for the record company?" He said, "Sure." So I got my own office in the record company. I had a desk. I loved it.
Nice,
So
nice.
I would be in charge of coffee, getting paperwork, printing, doing all that stuff. And one day he called me and said, um, call around and see how much it is to make a music video and a TV commercial. And so I did that. I called Comcast was the only place that was making um,
Mhm.
projects, for TV. And so I called Comcast. I said, "How much is it to make a 30-second commercial?" He said, $800. I was like, "What? I think I'm in the wrong business." 30 seconds, 800. I said, so yeah. I hung up the phone. I said, Price West, they're asking way too much. I said, I can produce this for half the cost.
Mhm.
And then I signed up for GRTV. It's a local TV station, public TV station in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay.
And I signed up there, and they taught me how to use the equipment and all that. I made our first TV commercial, and I made our first music video, and from then on, I end up making other people's commercials and music videos, and then around 2014, I was just getting off tour, and we were kind of burnt out from touring
Mhm.
real hard because I toured the colleges coast to coast, and
Mhm.
the politics was really getting at me. And I heard Tyler Perry say on an interview, he said, focus on one thing, and then everything else will be added on to you, and
Okay.
you can come back and do everything else once that thing takes off.
Mhm.
Like, it's a good idea. So I was thinking about my life and how uh, what I could do. Did I want to do music or did I want to do film?
Mhm.
And I chose film because I would be home more, with my kids.
Right.
So from that point on, I called myself filmmaker Moe McCoy from that moment on. And my first, I made a movie with my kids. That was the first movie I made. Um,
Mhm.
I got a copy of it on DVD. I got to get it digitized. But
Nice.
my mother-in-law, she has the copy and she will not let it go. I said I got to
Like,
digitize
this
it
is
before it's
mine. This is mine. Like
yeah,
you got to get your own. This is mine.
yeah. That's how she feels. I said, let me copy it and then I'll give it back to you. He's not having it.
She's like, no.
So that's my first movie, which nobody's ever seen, and then I made another movie called Tomorrow's Never Promised with my partner Jay Love. He was the other founder of Fireproof, and we I was going to a meeting, and he didn't want to go in. He was kind of like a hood dude. He didn't really want to go do no corporate nothing,
Uh-huh.
and So I told him, I said, well, you got to do something because I'm gonna be in here learning something. You do something productive. I said, why
Right.
don't you write a movie or something? I was just joking. He was like, yeah, okay, I'll write a movie. And I went in and I came out, he had the movie written. I was like, what?
He
Now
was
I got to
not
get my
playing.
word.
He was not playing.
Yeah, so I told him if he wrote a movie, I would film it. And with GRTV, I had all the equipment. I mean,
Hmm.
I had everything. So I was like, all right, well, I got to film it now. So we did some casting, and I casted like a lot of my cousins. I'm like, hey, cuz, I need you in this movie. And they showed up, and well, we filmed a movie called Tomorrow's Never Promised, and we premiered it at as Celebration Cinema. They had a theater called Studio 28. They
Hmm.
tore it down, but that was when it was standing, and
Hmm.
the whole city came out, and we did the red carpet, and people was taking pictures on the red carpet.
Nice.
I mean, that's
Nice.
where I found my passion. And then I watched the movie with my whole city, and we all, I heard the ups and downs of the movie, and then afterwards we talked about it, um, and and that was my first experience bringing an ideal on paper to the screen, and I just fell in love with it. So I ended up going back on tour for a little while, and then I came back, and I chose to just do film from then on out. Like I said, and I was filming a concert. Well, it was like a comedy show, and one of the comedians that was there, he he was killing it, and so
Hmm.
I said after the show, I said, man, we should do a movie, starring you.
Hmm.
And he was with it. So he came up with this movie called The Perfect Romance with a script
Hmm.
on paper. And so I took it from paper and then I put it on in script form, and then we filmed it. We did a casting call
It's
in
on Tubi, y'all. That movie's on Tubi. So if you got Tubi,
Yep, it's
it's
on
on
Tubi
Tubi.
right now. Yep,
Okay. If
when
you
I did
don't
the
have Tubi,
casting,
download it. Download Tubi and watch the movie. I'm sorry.
yep, or you can watch
I
it
said it.
online. Tubi
Yes,
Tubi is online too.
that's right.
Yep. So but yeah, I did a casting um call, and only like 10 people came, and I was
Oh,
like, all right, well, I'm gonna make the movie with y'all.
there
and
you
so
go.
and so we were filming all over, and different people gave us money to put their logo in there, and different restaurants let us use their space, and
Hmm.
a church, one restaurant called Brands, a real famous restaurant in our city.
Hmm.
They let us film all in there, and then I started when we were out filming. That's how we got the rest of the cast, because people saw us doing it and they was like, "I'll be in it."
I'll be in it.
Yeah, yeah. And so we filmed that, and then we edited. It took about a year because of scheduling, and
Hmm.
I had to keep going back on tour a little bit just to keep money coming in. And
Right.
so once we got it done, we did a premiere at Celebration Cinema, and that sold out as well. And and then I just did it a couple more times in different cities around Michigan, like 5 more times.
Hmm.
I felt like, we ran out of juice. You know what I mean? Like nobody wanted to come see any more movies, or I'm like, man, I'm getting a lot of hate here. I said I need
Yeah.
to go to another market.
Yeah.
And so um, I decided I had a team meeting. We had a team, and we was meeting every Sunday, and we were
Hmm.
feeding the team. We would
Hmm.
eat and then come up with ideas and think about projects we wanted to do.
Hmm.
And I met with the team. I said, "Hey, team, we saturated the market here in Grand Rapids. Let's let's go to Houston. Let's go.
Okay.
There's millions. There's 11.5 million people in Houston. We can
Right.
start doing movies there." And a lot of them was like, "Nah, I ain't moving. I ain't moving." Three people said they would go,
Yes.
and then on the day we were leaving, only one came with us.
What?
So it was me, my kids, and the comedian that I was telling you about that starred in in the Perfect Romance. So
Aw.
so we went down there, and everywhere I went, I didn't tell nobody I did music. I just was saying my name is filmmaker Moe McCoy. So as soon as I got there, somebody stole my equipment out the car.
Oh
So we
man.
was sitting in the hotel.
Damn.
Yeah, but it didn't stop me. What I did was I did a Craigslist ad, and I said
Mm-hmm.
looking for I'm casting for a new movie called The Tickler horror film. It's
Okay.
about a it's about a killer clown, and
Cause we
and
love Killer Clown.
huh?
Cause we love Killer Clown.
Yes, yes. and so and so when I did the casting call, well, before then, I asked my son, my oldest son, Jalen McCoy. I said, "Son, I need you to
Shout
draw."
out to Jalen.
Yeah, Jalen. Shout out to Jalen, man. Asked him to draw the tickler so I can have an example. You know what I mean? And he drew this figure of the tickler, and I was like, "That's great." You know what I mean? So I did the casting call, and I had it there, and in walks in um, five people. One of the people was an editor and had a camera. The next person was a cinematographer, and he had cameras, lights, sound, everything. And then the next person that walked in was a guy that looked just like the tickler. So I said, I didn't get everybody, but I got the star of the movie and I got a film crew. And
Nice.
so, and so my strategy for that movie is from there. Once I had those things in place, um, I went around doing booking that comedian for comedy shows, and then I asked the other comedians would they want to be in the movie, and we had comedians like Terrence McPeters, Lil Darrow, Jeff Shelley. He Jeff Shelley is huge right now. Check him out
Yeah.
on what's he on Instagram? He's viral. You know what I mean? But those all those comedians jumped in, and we made that was my first movie when I got to Houston, and then I just kept going after that. I did a premiere. That premiere sold out at the River Oaks Theater. Came out, people enjoyed the movie, and then I just kept going from there. The reason why the Tickler didn't get picked up by Maverick Films is because the stand up comedy in it, they don't do stand up, they just do
Oh,
movies. So when I come back around and do part two to the Tickler, I ain't gonna put no stand up in it.
all right.
It's gonna be scary. This one's
All
gonna be
right.
scarier.
You know something? When you were talking about how people wanted to like be in your movie and whatnot, I
Mhm.
kind of relate to that because I'm a self published author, and when I
Mhm.
tell people I'm writing a particular book, they be like, "Oh, can I be in your book? Can I be in your book?"
Yeah,
I don't understand that, but maybe it's because they want to be seen or like, oh, I was part of something big or whatever. I don't
yeah,
know, but I'm like, sure. But, I don't put their full name. I just change the name a little bit and change
mhm,
their personality a little bit. So, I don't want to get involved in any legal action, whatever.
yeah.
Also, yeah, I'm listening to you talk and I'm watching you and you are giving me John Singleton vibes, Robert Townsend vibes. I love it. I mean,
I love Robert Townsend. I think that he was the one that kind of really inspired me as a kid, watching all his movies. You know,
yeah, Hollywood Shuffle, Meteor Man,
hmm
and
Blank
then
Man.
and he was part of Delirious.
Yeah, yep,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah, so I grew up seeing black filmmakers, so that's why I thought I could do it because I saw them. The first uh, really big black movie my mom took me to see was uh, Friday.
Oh my gosh.
No, no, no. I'm sorry, not Friday. It was Boys in the Hood.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it was Boys in the Hood. I was like,
Yeah. Like,
yes,
what?
I
This is
loved it.
real?
Yeah, so um, it blew me away, and I was like, yeah, I got to be involved in movies. And so fast forward to 2019, I moved to Las Vegas from Houston,
Okay.
and when I got to Las Vegas, it was Corona time, so I couldn't
Yeah.
really start filming right away. I
Mhm.
did film some stuff. I filmed a documentary called "Vacant in Vegas" because there was nobody on the strip and the lights was out, and so I thought I'd capture that. And I interviewed a local named Pretty Tony. He was the uh, this man is a star. When I the first time I seen him, I was like, yeah, you in all my movies. Yeah. People mistake him for Cat Williams a lot because of his look. You know what I mean? He
Oh, the
don't look
look?
nothing like Cat Williams, but the way he dressed is the way Cat Williams dressed.
Yeah.
It wasn't the way Cat Williams dressed before him. Pretty Tony been like this since a kid.
Mhm.
It's just him. So
Mhm.
he just got a big star on him, man. And I see it, and so I put him in that documentary talking about Las Vegas because he had the most knowledge of Las Vegas since he was born and raised,
Mhm.
and uh, and then I just started editing on other movies that I had filmed around the country. I
Mhm.
had filmed a kids movie called Spring Break about overcoming bullying, starring my youngest son, Real Love McCoy, and that's on HTV.
That
By the
sounds
way,
like
Roku. You
the black version of Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yep, yeah, yeah. But this was at a camp that I went to when I was a kid. It's called Camp Tall Turf. And so I took 100 kids up to Camp Tall Turf and filmed the movie. It was hard to do.
Oh, so
Yeah.
now it sounds like a combination of Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Meatball.
Hey, both great movies. Yeah. So so I finished editing that when I got to Vegas. I also finished up on a documentary that I did about the Nappy Head Assassins
Mhm.
and another documentary about Dino. He was a boxer out of Grand Rapids, a championship boxer. And then uh, a, a movie that I starred in called Someone to Love, a comedy, and
Nice.
that's on Roku as well. And then
Check it out.
and yeah,
Check it out. Check it out. Check
yeah,
it out,
yeah.
y'all. Check it out.
And that's a continuation of the Perfect Romance because my character in Perfect Romance was
Mhm.
named Chris Mansion, and
Okay.
so it follows his story in Someone to Love, Chris Mansion. So and he moved to Denver and got a job at a weed company called Tree Hugger. Yeah. So so I finished those movies, and uh, then I met Edwin Victory, my partner, and I met him. I was setting up a table promoting my movies, and he
Mhm.
was filming his kids, and he had a mascot out there, and it was cool. So anybody with a camera, I'll be like, hey, what's your name? Let me get your card. Let me talk to you. You know what I mean? Because you never know. I might
Mhm.
need your services. And so we hit it off, and it was like two dynamic forces just going bam together, and everything we touched turned to gold
Nice.
when we're working together. So we set up a premiere called the for the Bad Boxer movie. Um,
Mhm.
I was ready to start filming again
Mhm.
at towards the end of the pandemic, the shutdown, and
Mhm.
177 people came out to the casting event,
Okay. Wow.
My first film in Las Vegas, and then we filmed all over. We filmed at a couple gyms, Game Changers Gym. We filmed at um, uh, City Boxing Gym.
Okay.
When we was at City Boxing Gym, Floyd Mayweather Sr. came,
All
um,
right.
Jeff Mayweather came, Shane Mosley Jr.
Nice.
We was bumping into all the famous boxers.
Nice.
And Jeff and Floyd Sr., they're both in the movie.
Okay.
So so that was pretty cool. Then we met this beautiful family called the Camerons, Lisa and Stephen Cameron, and they let
Mhm.
us film scenes at their house, their
Okay.
nice
Cool.
house. They fed us. They fed the whole squad, and
All
then
right now.
we filmed at my loft, and we did all the green screen and stuff there, and, and then we got it done. About 13 days of filming,
Uh huh.
and then the editing and the post production is what took a year.
Mhm.
So we finally got it done at the beginning of this year,
Mhm.
and set up a premiere. We're going to do our first premiere March 18th at the
Right.
Boulevard Mall, Galaxy Theaters, and
Mhm.
show it for the first time.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and we just got a deal with XOD
Mhm.
Network,
Right.
where it's going to be available on that network right after the premiere.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well.
and then we also going to take the movie to different cities and
All
do a
right.
premiere as well. Yeah, so we're going to take it out there. We're going to have some merchandise like the boxing gloves and ropes and things like that. Yeah, so
You sound like a busy man, Mr. McCoy.
oh yeah. Besides that, every day we're filming all kinds of content for. We got a show called The Doctor's Office. It's a comedy informational type show. So we got comedians on there, and we got real doctors telling real information to help people. You
That's
know what I mean?
that actually sounds funny because when you said the doctor's office, it makes me think of the office. So I'm like, oh, so this must be entertaining and informative. So this,
Yes.
so okay, yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. So you said that the first time you filmed was a commercial. What was this commercial?
It was the commercial to promote my our new album coming out,
Okay,
The Nappy Head Assassins.
okay. Um, so okay, was your first love music or film?
My first love was music,
Okay.
and I just did two songs with Edwin Victory and Boo
Mhm.
Capone. One is called "Knock 'Em Out" for the Bad Boxer promo,
Mhm.
um, and then the other song was called "A Win." We did it for the Raiders,
Mhm.
and when the Raiders was winning, they lost though. They lost the game that counts. But yeah, but I rapped on both of those songs. So when I do music, it's kind of for fun, for me.
Okay.
But my main focus is movies. My goal is to do 100 films. I'm at about
Awesome.
43 right now, so I'm not even halfway there. So I got a lot of work to do.
That's that sounds like a goal you should definitely achieve. Like to do 100 movies, go for it.
Yes,
Go
ma'am.
for it.
Yes.
Definitely
Oh,
go for it.
yeah, I'm gonna
Um.
do it, and I'm getting better at every time. I'm learning more. I did go back to school. I'm in school at Full Sail University,
Right.
learning digital cinematography, just to get better at what I'm doing. I want to master this. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Be a master filmmaker,
Cool.
and I ain't trying
Okay.
to be better than nobody. I just want to be the best me. You know.
And that's all you can be. That's all you
Mhm.
can be is be your best you. You cannot be somebody else because if you try to be somebody else, you're not being your authentic self. and
Yeah.
it's not gonna come out right. So it's best to just be you. I mean,
Yeah.
you can adapt to certain ideas from other people because they probably adapted ideas from somebody else. But you
Yeah.
can't just hone into one person's identity because you're not being your authentic self.
Yeah. For sure.
So this month we've lost a lot of people, and I do mean a lot of people.
Hmm.
One of these people was Sidney Poitier.
Hmm.
Um, what is your take on Mr. Poitier?
Man, he was legendary. Legendary. Sidney Poitier. I watched a movie called Let's Do It Again with him and Bill Cosby when I was a
Right.
kid. I loved it. I loved watching black people on movies. I did anytime I could see that, I loved it.
He was definitely a trailblazer. Him and Harry Belafonte. Um,
Hmm.
and I bring these two gentlemen up because, like I said before, they broke barriers for Black people in Hollywood, where we were always portrayed as being ignorant and lazy, and just being simple-minded and just being inferior to you know the white person. Harry Belafonte and Sidney Poitier was the game changer. They Harry Belafonte was he brought he was looked at as a sex symbol. Him and him and Sidney Poitier, they were looked at as a sex symbol. Granted that they did all black movies, but they were looked at they wasn't like looked at the the stereotype. I don't want to say it,
Yeah.
but the stereotype.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
they broke barriers, and they pretty much kicked down the door for like other black actors and black actresses, directors and producers, and I think it's a beautiful thing. You know, it's and even now we're still trying to break that stereotype on how we look on how we are looked at in a negative light. Like not all of us, and that leads me to Hollywood Shuffle. Hollywood Shuffle was a parody on how Hollywood looked at black people,
Hmm.
and um I thought it was funny, and it was very informative. But yes, black people aren't we're not prostitutes, we're not pimps. We don't talk a broken language. We're just as educated as the white person.
Hmm.
We
Fact.
own businesses just like I mean, come on, the Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Um, and we are just as creative, and we can tell a story just like Hollywood. But I think it's a beautiful thing that you are doing film, and you have all these different you've done documentaries, you've done films with your family, you even have people who want to be in the film, and they participated, and it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful how you
Thank you.
how we can tell a story, and
Mhm.
and a story that people can relate to. I mean, granted, I do literature, and you're doing film, but either way, it's still art,
Yep.
and we're still telling a story, and
Yeah.
sometimes we're telling our story.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing is we also just celebrated Dr. King's birthday.
Yes.
Um, when was the first time you heard about Dr. King, and how did it impact you?
Oh, when I was a kid, I heard of Dr. King when I was young, and it made me feel great, that you could have a dream and materialize it. That's what I got from it. When I was like, okay, so gotta have a dream and then go for it. So my first dream was music,
Hmm.
and I lived it out, and um, now film. So
Hmm.
yeah, so Martin Luther King is definitely influence to me, and everything that I do.
But,
Yeah.
um, my first experience, when I first heard of Dr. King, I was about 5 years old, and I was in kindergarten. And when I
Mm,
heard about Dr. King, this is the first time I heard about racism.
mm,
I'm like, what? Like, and this is the first time I heard that white people were, and mind you, I'm 5 years old, so in my 5 year old brain, I'm thinking white people were mean to black people, and I
mm,
couldn't comprehend that because I'm 5 years old, and I'm like, why white people so mean to black people because they're black?
yeah.
And it was like, yeah, that's why. And I still like, and like at that time it was like I just don't understand, like
Yeah.
why, and then as I got older, I guess you could say digging more into the dirt, it was like white people enslaved black people,
Mhm.
white people kidnapped black people from Africa and
Yep.
sent them to Europe and the Caribbean and the United States and treated them, and we were treated like property as opposed to people. Um, um, Even though there was the Emancipation Proclamation and Abraham freed slavery, he abolished slavery, there was still we were still treated as inferior, like we had Jim Crow laws. Um, um, uh, the incident in what was it? I think it was in Alabama where these black students were trying to go to school, and
Mhm.
the white kids refused to did not want them in their schools simply because they were black. Um, and you want to know something? Even now, as a full grown adult
Mhm.
with children of her own, I still don't understand. And I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe it's jealousy, maybe it's envy. Because
Mhm.
think about it: white people white people get tans,
Mhm.
white people get implants,
True that.
white people get braids in their hair.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay,
Lips.
yes, and lip enhancement. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So this is a envy kind of thing. Okay, okay.
Mhm.
But it's I think of Dr. King's speech, "I have a dream," and I keep wondering, is this dream ever going to come true?
Mhm. Yeah. I don't know if racism will ever end. I just I don't even care no more. I just
Mhm.
keep doing me. If I run across a racist, you know, I'm not racist, so I
Right,
can't identify with that person. I'll just keep on doing what I'm doing, and,
right,
and I ain't finna let it rile me up. Nothing. I'm just gonna keep on moving. I don't put energy into things that I can't change.
exactly.
And if you want something to change, you start with yourself. So treat people all the same. And
Hmm.
I treat people how they treat me as well.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. I mean, I don't pay no mind for racism, and I live in the South.
Yeah.
I'm in the South. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm pretty much in the Bible Belt, you know.
Yeah.
And originally, I'm not originally from the South. I'm from the North. I'm from New York,
Mhm.
so I get it twice as much. Like, oh, uh, a nigger from the North or a Yankee. But I don't pay attention to that because I'm like,
Mhm.
look, I'm just being my authentic self. I'm not hurting nobody. I'm not hurting nobody. I'm just existing. But
Mhm.
luckily, I had not experienced any racism here. But at the same time, I have a son who's in college, and I worry about him as any parent would if when their child is away from them.
Mhm.
And he's in college, and and he has a car, so I'm afraid that He's gonna be driving, and in a cop and a white cop is gonna pull him over for no reason. And
Mhm.
it. I don't want to say I worry about that, but I'm concerned about that, and I pray that it doesn't happen. Also, I have a daughter who is biracial, and she can pass for Hispanic or Middle Eastern, and
Yeah,
she knows she's black, but it's like she has this. I don't know how to put it, but it's like she it's this ideology that's been put into her head about black people, and it's
mhm,
like she's ashamed of being black. I'm like, honey, please don't be ashamed of who you are.
exactly.
You know.
Okay. Never be ashamed of who you are because everybody's different and God
Mhm.
made everybody who they are different. You know, a lot of people strive to be like other people, but you're different. And there's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being the original.
Right.
You know what I mean? You
Mhm.
are the original made you.
That's right.
So just be the best you can be. That's what I always say, you know?
So is you said that your family took part in your films.
Yeah.
Are they still do they still play a part in your company in Fireproof
Um,
TV?
Not a lot of them. I want them to. uh, you know, so one of my cousins, Fred McCoy, he did an excellent job, and I've been trying to get him in every movie since. But, um, you know, I I do movies in different cities and stuff like that, and they won't come. You know, and I do open casting events, and everybody's welcome. But
Mhm.
the people that show up is the people who be in the movie.
Mhm.
You know, I cast everybody. That's why I wouldn't consider myself a part of Hollywood because I do my own process. I don't do their process or their
Mhm.
way of doing anything, and I get scrutinized for it. But I don't give a damn because
Good for you.
I'm not Hollywood. I'm a
Right.
independent guerrilla filmmaker. I'm gonna
Right.
make a film no matter what.
Right.
And I had to learn how to do it. Nobody was
Right.
giving me a budget. You know what I mean? Nobody was like, here's $100,000, make a movie, or here's $1 million, make a movie.
Mhm.
No, no. I had to figure it out.
Right.
Movie costs money. I had to leverage different things. Had to hustle on the side. I had to DoorDash, Lyft, whatever I
Mhm.
had to do to make it happen. I
Mhm.
did. I came up with a process where I would provide a service at the casting um, call, and I changed it to the casting event. And so it became an event instead of audition because
Mhm.
now you come, you sign your paperwork, you get your photo shoot, you get to get on stage and show us what you got, and you get
Mhm.
casted in the movie, and you
Yeah.
get your picture on the poster like you're the star.
There you
And
go.
you know that's so I charge $50 to $100 for that, and
Mhm.
people will come get in the movie, and you know their goal is met, and we was able to leverage some funds to feed the people. And, most of that money goes to feeding people and
Mhm.
printing the posters and stuff like that. But you know that's I would call that the Moe McCoy process. Uh, so even if somebody hires me to make their film, I'm gonna
Mhm.
do it with my process and help them make their money back.
That sounds awesome.
You know what I mean?
I also like the fact that you have like you have people who want to who are trying to get their start as actors and actresses. I like that. I really
Yeah,
like that because
exactly.
because because you're the one who is allowing them to get their feet wet. They're not going to like LA where
Mhm.
they have to sit hours upon hours to be seen, and then
Yep.
once they are seen, oh could we reschedule? You don't do that.
Mm-mm. I
You
cast
don't do that.
everybody that comes. I wouldn't say everybody's a A-list star. You know what I mean? But
Right.
we can use you where you at. Like you could, okay, if you can't speak, then I'm gonna have you be an extra. You know what I mean? And that'll be your first experience on set. And maybe next time you might have a small speaking role, and then next
Mhm.
time you might be the star. You
Yeah.
know, shout out Roger McGee. He tapped in. He's a gangbanger. You know what I mean? And he really wanted to get into acting.
All right.
And so I gave him. He got in, paid his fee. He started off with a little role, and then he got a bigger role, and now
Hey.
he's gonna be starring in the Bad Boxer 2. It's called Bad Boxer: The Rise of Big Japan.
All
He's in
right.
he's in part one as a boxer that gets knocked out by the bad boxer. But
Oh.
so we're gonna part two is gonna follow his story.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. But Roger McKee, look out for him. He is going to be a major star.
Okay,
He is a
Roger.
beast. Yeah. he um he took it serious. He learned how to read his script and remember his script, and now he used my process and he got
Mhm.
it down. He's better than me with my
Oh,
own
okay.
process. So uh, like yeah, he's definitely gonna be a force in the industry to be reckoned with.
I
Yeah.
think that's beautiful. I mean, he goes to. He sounds like he reminds me of yeah. I only know him as Tiny. You know who I'm
Oh
talking about, right?
yeah, yeah.
He
Um,
started off as like he was this guy that he was always using Tiny from Friday, from the
hmm
Friday franchise.
hmm
He was in jail. He was incarcerated, and then the first time I saw Tiny, he was in No Holds Barred with Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah.
Then he did Friday,
hmm
and then he did the Fifth Element, and he just been blowing up ever since. Same thing with Terry Crews. He's
Yeah.
he was incarcerated at one time as well, and
Mhm.
he's blowing up too. And in fact, I saw a news clip of him being sexually harassed by another agent in Hollywood, and this was a guy.
Wow.
So he's part of the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
He's part of the Me Too movement.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm glad you're not part of that Hollywood lifestyle because
I'm good
you
on
know
that.
all that glitters is not gold.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, all that glitters is not gold. And like I said, you give actors and actresses that are just starting out a chance to get
Mhm.
their feet wet, and and they can say, "Hey, I did this film. I did
Yeah.
this films for Fireproof TV, and and so on, and who knows, it could catapult them to the stars.
Yeah, just like from the Perfect Romance, Nisha Nichols, she works for HBO now. You know what I mean?
See,
She started off with me on on the Perfect Romance, but
see,
her first movie hit Walmart coast to coast and all the social platforms, and then she got on HBO.
all right.
She's big time now.
Let me ask you something. This conversation, we're vibing and we're talking whatever. You have Netflix, right?
Mhm,
Okay. Um, I don't know if it's still there, but it's this it's a show called Hollywood,
mhm,
and it's produced by what's his name? Ryan Murphy. Ryan Murphy is freaking awesome. In fact, he is the producer and director of American Horror Story.
mhm,
He did, as well as Pose. Love the show. But anyway, going back to Hollywood. Now Hollywood was about these these people who wanted to break into Hollywood. Some were actors, some were writers, some were directors, and some were producers. Um,
Mhm.
One was Archie. He was a screenwriter and he was black and gay. Um, then there was a director. I forgot his name, but he was half white and half Asian. And then you had an actress that was black and another actress who came from a very wealthy Hollywood movie family, and she was trying to like break into her own. And then you had one who just left the military. The reason why I bring this up is because it took place in the 1940s.
Mhm.
At that time, being gay and black was unheard of. Being a half white and half Asian director was unheard of.
Mhm.
If you were an actor or black actor or actress, you didn't get any leading roles.
Facts.
So so with this show, and even though it was fiction, um, it was showing that these people. Oh, and then you had a wife who was um who was the her husband was the head of a movie production, and she wanted to be in charge, not entirely, but she wanted to be in charge of certain things. She didn't want to be in the background. She didn't want to be the one that's home cooking and cleaning and taking care of the house. She didn't want to do that. She wanted to be with her husband, taking care of of the movie production.
Yeah.
So this show Hollywood showed a lot of people breaking barriers, and it was amazing. You had Queen Latifah portraying Hattie McDaniels. Um, you had Jim Parsons. He was portraying I forgot his name, but he was a really disgusting movie agent. But he made big stars. He even made Rock Hudson. May he rest in peace. But Rock Hudson was abused by this agent. I mean, he was sexually abused by this agent, verbally abused and physically abused by his agent for a very long time because he didn't know better.
Mm.
Rock Hudson was this guy from the Midwest. He grew up on a farm, and he grew up from a very abusive household, and he didn't know better. So this agent, this slimy agent, like took him under his wing just to, you know, do what he want with him. But he made him a star. But yeah, just a suggestion. Like I strongly suggest you as well as our visitors to look at Hollywood because it's amazing.
That's I did my first homework assignment was to study Black Hollywood, and I did post that on our channel too. My homework, what I discovered,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's a lot, and it's inspiring. You know, a lot of
Hmm.
people had to go through a lot of things just to be on screen, and you know, that's why I'm glad to be independent because I don't. There's no rules. You know, when I was in those Hollywood movies that I was in Batman versus Superman,
Hmm.
another one called End of Tour, and a couple the Detroiters or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, I was an extra, you know, and I got zero to a little bit of screen time. When
Hmm.
I'm the filmmaker, I can get as much as I want.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that was, you know, that's why I wasn't. I started off with Hollywood, and then I just worked my way out of it and started
Uh-huh.
doing my own thing. You know, so
And it's funny you say that because I'm pretty sure that John Singleton as well as Robert Townsend, um, they did their they did their movie production. They did their movies independently. Like with
yeah.
Hollywood Shuffle, they had a shoestring budget.
Mhm. I'm familiar with those.
Yes, they had a shoestring budget, and
Yeah.
when Hollywood looks at like Robert Townsend work and John Singleton work, it's like, oh, this looks interesting. Let's put this on a cable network like HBO or Cinemax, or now we have Netflix and Hulu and whatever.
Hmm.
Let's put that on there, and then it blows up like with Boys in the Hood and Baby Boy and Poetic Justice and Five Heartbeats and Meteor Man and Hollywood Shuffle. You know, so you never know. Somebody may be looking at you in Hollywood and be like, okay, let's put him on.
Yep. Yep. Um, I do talk to Hollywood a lot. You know what I mean. Um, but again, I like doing me.
Yeah.
I do. I might take a couple projects, maybe, you know, um, if it has the right dollar amount with it, and then
I feel you.
that'll help me produce another one of my films. You know what I mean? That's the only reason I would do it,
Hmm.
basically. So uh, I'm trying to build my own world like you. You
Yeah.
know
Well,
what I'm saying?
it's still small, but it'll get bigger.
Yep, you're right.
It'll get bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it's time is winding down.
Hmm.
Uh, let's see. Is there any parting words you want to say to our other visitors?
I would say, like, if you're gonna be in Las Vegas in March, come to the red carpet premiere. It's going to be fun. Hollywood stars are going to be on the red carpet. That's one thing that happens at my independent movie premieres.
Give us some
Hollywood
stars. Give us some
stars come
stars.
out.
Give us
Yeah.
some
So
stars.
was that?
Give us some stars. What stars gonna be there?
Oh, the Mayweathers, Justin Mayweather, Jeff Mayweather, um, Floyd Mayweather Sr., uh, Bull Capone, Edwin Victory, Peanut Johnson, uh, Miss Benji from Hollywood, California, uh, uh, Freeway Ricky. I know you guys heard of him. He's got a new book out, and and their friends. I'm working with a person from Friday right now, shooting some music videos for
See
her.
y'all? See
Yeah,
y'all?
yeah. No, it's a female. Uh, can't
Ah!
can't really say yet, but you'll see when once it's done. But yeah, so she's gonna be bringing them out too. You know, I heard Mike Tyson lives here in Las Vegas, and um, Cat Williams and Floyd
Mhm.
Mayweather Jr.
Mhm.
You'd never know who could come out to be on the red carpet.
You never know.
Yeah,
You never know. And y'all don't want to miss it. Y'all don't want to miss this.
yeah.
Y'all
I
need to
think
be there.
you should come too, and I think the red carpet is an opportunity, not just to come see the movie, but to hit that red carpet and get on film.
Hmm.
Because we filmed the red carpet and we put it on our channel. So you
Okay.
know,
I
and
will.
I ordered the biggest backdrop I could get, and I ordered a throne. So the throne is gonna be out
What?
there. You can sit on the throne and take pictures. It's gonna be a lit situation. Yeah. So all my kings and queens come out and get your pictures on the red carpet with a celebrity in it, and it's going down.
Well, I will do my best to fly to the West Coast, and I
Yes.
will have my sleekest dress, my
Hey,
highest heel.
hey, that's what's up. I can't wait.
I gotta look Hollywood now.
Yeah.
If I want to be on the red carpet, I gotta show my A game. Gotta bring my A
Hmm.
game. I know I'm not like Rihanna,
Hey,
but but
you're
I'm I'm,
you,
I'm
and
gonna
that's
get
what's
there.
important.
I'm just gonna be me.
Yeah,
That's gonna be me.
yeah,
All right, y'all. Well, that concludes the world of Aja Pearl. I'd like to thank my visitor, Moe McCoy, for stopping by yet again.
yeah.
And I hope he comes back yet again.
I'll be back.
All right, now.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for visiting the world of Aja Pearl. It's my world, and I'm so happy you came.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
Hey, y'all have a good day.
Yeah.